Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel Q&A. My name's Doug. So the next sequel that we're going to be covering is a pretty good one. It's been a rough year for sequels for us. Well, in Jamie's opinion, I've loved so many of them. We're going to be talking Hot Shots Part Deux. And for it, we're talking to another American Gladiator, one of the OGs, the legendary Zap, Raye Hollitt. Raye was so much fun. Raye grew up not too far from where I'm at. She grew up outside of Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. So we talked about that journey into being an athlete, the bodybuilding. She has some wild stories of the people she used to interact with over at Gold Gyms in California, the Barbarian twins, one of them. And then how she does this little role in the John Ritter movie Real Men. I think it's Real Men. Oh, Skin Deep. Sorry. And her scene pops in the trailer. So she's the one who's going over to Europe and promoting the movie, some wild stuff. And then, of course, we talked American Gladiators, talked about some of her other acting roles along the way. But it was really cool because she grew up not watching a lot of TV. So she really wasn't starstruck by the big names that when she was on talk shows or people that she used to interact with at Gold's. It was just like, oh yeah, you're another person. So it was a really cool perspective. She was a lot of fun. So do me a favor, if you're new here, welcome. Please like, subscribe, share. You can watch an unedited video version of this on YouTube if you like. Yeah. But without further ado, here is actress and American Gladiator legend Zap, Raye Hollitt. So Lake Tahoe, nice. So this is pretty cool. I love being able to talk with folks and learn about their journeys. And just growing up, you were on the biggest show and the biggest crossover show, I think, ever in the history of TV, because later on in the 2000s and 2010s, there were so many opportunities and so many different services that you'd be able to watch things on. But with American Gladiators, it was wild because even if you didn't watch it, you knew about it because of all the other shows on different networks that you guys guest starred on, or episodes that were all about you, or talk shows or Family Feud. But like the beginning, so you grew up in Scranton, in Wilkes-Barre?
In Wilkes-Barre, a lake that it's called Harvey's Lake. I was just there a month ago, went back for the first time in 10 years.
Oh, man.
But grew up on a lake, which is kind of random, that moved to Tahoe on a lake and work at a place called Harvey's during the summers, doing the summer concert series.
That's pretty
So
fun.
it's kind of came full circle.
Yeah. And the lake, right? When people think about lakes, I think Lake Tahoe, right? Lake Tahoe is like the number one lake blank, or Lake Michigan. But I think Lake Tahoe is number one.
Yeah, it's definitely a tourist resort town. So we've got our seasons, which is coming up, but there's a mud season and there's a shoulder season. So there's like 6 weeks in between, like when the snow is going to come and they're going to open the mountain. And then I go back
What's
to
the mud season like? Just in fear of mudslides from a lot of rain?
No, it's when they close the mountain, all of nobody comes up here because there's nothing to do. It's too cold to be out on the lake.
Yeah.
And that's when they fix the roads.
That's a good time. And nobody's here. Let's start doing some work. So growing up on Lake Harvey, what was the first thing you thought about? Was it getting into fitness, or was it acting? Did you do like theater in high school?
I was an athlete. Pick a sport. I did it. Even football. I was a statistician. Played, won the javelin and state champion, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
In track and field, state champions in volleyball. And then, field hockey and basketball. I even tried cheerleading. That didn't work out. But back then I was very, very thin. My daughter's very thin. It just runs in the family. And I got into weight training because I was doing all these sporting events, which, you know, your metabolism is already flying.
Yeah.
And I was also working as a bartender at an early age. I wasn't supposed to be bartending, but I did. And I met a
Really?
bouncer.
In high school? In high school, you were bartending?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And what's trippy, it was called the Station. And I had to wear, I was very busty, skinny, but
Yeah.
busty, and lied about my age and wore a French maid outfit. You know, the French maid where it's
Yeah.
black and the ruffle and the breasts are kind of.
I was a French maid for Halloween one time
Were you
in middle
really?
school. Yeah.
And with the trippy thing too is we had to wear 5-inch heels back then, and so that was the biggest challenge. Was where the stupid. Now I've got calves like out of this world. I swear. Everybody's like, "Where'd you get those calves?" It had to be from wearing those
From
heels.
the station. Wow. So this, where was that? Was that was right there in
Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah,
Wow. I never,
yeah,
not like I've gone up there a bunch. My buddy went to Scranton University. I'm
really.
I'm in Jersey.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty funny. This, I never heard of the station. Obviously people know like the Hooters and all of that, but the station French maid outfit. Wow. And that
Yeah.
underage.
Shh. Anyway, the they were box cars, so there was like the lounge, the bar, the restaurant, and then uh, all the box cars were hotel like rooms,
Yeah.
suite. It was a great place to work. I just knew somebody who was dating the owner, Ah, so that's how I got in.
I hope she wasn't in high school.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But times are different then. No, but that, so you do that. What was that first jump to? Did you go to school in state or right away did you go out west?
The day after I graduated high school, I started dating one of the bouncers who was initially going to go into the Mr. Universe, and he was
Ah, okay.
huge. He looked like a barbarian twin, and he asked me, "Would you? Oh, do you remember back in the day when they had couples?" And
They used to do
I thought
couples Mr. Olympia?
they back at the Universe, and that's what we were training for. And he's, I had to put on some muscle, obviously, but the
Yeah.
first show I went in, I won. But he backed out. He slipped a disc, squatting, and he's like, "You should just go in by yourself." And I did, and I won the PA. And then we split. I made a lot of money bartending. I put it away, and my mom gave me her blessing. And then I went to the mecca of bodybuilding because when I was with him and working and going to school, um, it was it was a good fit. I'll put it that
Yeah.
way, to go and train where Arnold and Lou Ferrigno. I mean, as soon as I got off the plane, I couldn't believe I was thrown right into the mix so fast. Like the morning
Really?
of, yeah.
Did you know
Anybody
people
out
out
there?
there like from doing the
No,
competitions and you didn't know anyone?
absolutely zero. I got a one-way ticket, got off the plane, got in a taxi. I said, take me to some motel near Gold's Gym so I can walk. And he drops me off at this place in Santa Monica called the Kensington, where all the bodybuilders were living. Not all. The Barbarian twins were there.
Really?
They
Oh my
they were my
god.
first ride to the gym. They were in their Jeep. And then my Christian, for anybody who knows this sport, he and his wife and his children were living there. They were the first people I met. And I walk in to Gold's Gym, and that was my home away from home. And that's how it all started.
Wow. So when you're out there, are the Barbarian twins already acting? Are they already a thing or before? This is prior to that.
Let's say right on the cusp of
Yeah.
them becoming well known. Um, And, going in there, I was just welcomed so fast. And then I was taken under the wing of Rick Valenti, I don't want to keep name dropping,
Yeah,
but
but I'm sure I'm sure people that listen to this, those like the big that's cool for such a welcoming community, especially you're, literally a fish out of water, and that's so cool. You had so many people there. It makes it so much easier to do something when you have people that are there to help
and well, I had to get a job. This was cool. In Santa Monica, I got out of that hotel and moved into a place right on the boardwalk with about 6 or 8 other bodybuilders. So I had my own balcony and room. We all split the kitchen. Everybody was into that scene. It was just like really, a lot of people say I got a horseshoe up my butt. I think, I, I think so.
What was the scene like? Was it like a lot of partying all the time? With that type
Um,
of
Absolutely. There wasn't a lot of partying at all. I
Oh,
mean, I
okay, I was
didn't,
gonna say, because everybody's so focused on working out of yeah, okay.
yeah, there wasn't any partying. That happened after actually, that happened pretty much in the middle of Gladiators. There was the
Yeah.
partying, but famous, and then got invited to the Playboy Mansion and the big parties, and then the celebrities. There were a lot of
Yeah.
celebrities who were trained at Gold's, um, and they would have parties. So yeah, yeah. And then the magazine covers came because I entered the LA. I won the LA. I won the Miss California. Blah blah blah.
Wow. So what's the first time that it's thinking about, because you were acting before Gladiator. How did that is that something you looked for, or somebody just from seeing you on a cover of a magazine reached out to you?
Um, we were so focused and training twice a day and having a job. I worked in a law firm downtown. Um, I thought that's the route that I wanted to take, was going into law.
Wow.
And I'm at the gym, and one of the people at the front desk, they're like, "Ray, they're auditioning for this movie. You'd be perfect for it. They're looking for a woman uh, who's got a lot of mass, a lot of muscle, but can take off a tracksuit and pretty much look like a dude." So I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'm kind of focused on doing nationals, and they're like, "No, you're going." And I was like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do." So I go. It was for Skin Deep. I didn't know who Blake Edwards was. I didn't know who John Ritter was. Never watched TV. Didn't have time. Working
Yeah,
and
no,
training.
it sounds like it.
No clue. So I went over to the studios in Culver City, and I got the paper with these words on it, and I had never seen a script. And I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't memorize. And I took the paper and walked into the audition, and and there was, I swear, a couple roomfuls of women bodybuilders. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I could care less. And I think that's why I got it, because I could
Yeah.
care. And they liked the vulnerability. And then, so I'm reading, and you read in front of, I don't know, 5, 6 people, and they're like, you know what? Go, go study these lines, come back, and we're going to have you read for Blake. I'm like, okay. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, right, yeah.
There was no intimidation. I had no problem memorizing. And those lines, I don't know if the people out there remember, I worked 5 years, 55 weeks a year, 5 hours a day to build this body. And for one night, this night, it's all yours. And that's when I came out and I had to disrobe in front of John Ritter. And I mean, when I disrobed not naked at that point, when I did it in the audition, I took off my tracksuit and I got the job instantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was almost too easy. Too easy.
I know, but does that make your mind flip about the attitude? Like before that, you were saying like, I don't really care. Why am I do this? And then that has to be like, oh, I want to do this to see
I
how it worked out.
Well, at that time, I really wasn't going in the acting direction.
Yeah.
I found it a little boring, and that's just my take on it. Just because
People say that because it's one of those jobs that it sounds like kind of like a whiny thing, but it's like, yeah, you have to sit there in a trailer for 12 hours sometimes. They're setting up a shot. Oh, you
yeah,
know what? We're going to start it at now, or we're going to do another 2 hours. And you're there 14 hours. So it is like this really odd thing. That's why I think it's such a fascinating world.
it is, and what the stepping stone from that was a gentleman named Johnny Ferraro. He's a creator, of the the pilot.
Yeah.
His father had my poster because back then I was a pretty big name in the bodybuilding scene. I mean, I had 28 covers of magazines, so
Wow.
doing that film, and then his father had my poster and said, they have to have me. So he came with Gemini, who is the original,
Yep.
Michael, and I got in the car. They took me to Universal Studios. The producers, they were all leaving. There was nobody there, whereas like Lori Ice had to go through all of this grueling pull-ups, rope climb,
Yeah.
obstacle course, and there was just a couple guys and Johnny standing around there like, can you do this for us?" That was cake.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
an athlete, that was cakewalk. So I got that. I became there was 6 characters in the beginning that they had names for, and they had um almost like wrestling personas.
Yeah.
Nitro, explosive, Gemini, 2 different personalities, Lace, very sexy and buxom, Zap, I fit right in there because it was like gets in, strikes like lightning,
Yep.
and causes a lot of damage and gets out. Um, who's the other
And then
ones?
Malibu. Yeah, which
Malibu.
is like a wrestling kind of character. And it's funny which I think the documentary was so good on Netflix was him talking about like I never surfed before in my life. And just like it was that's the thing that I think I talked to Lori Ice last week. And I was telling her it's crazy because you guys did this thing about people at this point knew wrestling was fake that was already
Yeah.
out there. So it was kind of cool to watch something, especially me as a kid. I'm watching it from like 6 until, 11, 12 ish. So for me, it was so cool because it was like, this is real. And there's people like me, not at that age, but like my dad could be on the show. My dad couldn't be on wrestling. So it like bridged this whole world of like, these people are playing sort of characters, which you were with like, there was like the one liners or the smack talk with the contestants. But it was like, this is real. Like these people are really going at it.
Yeah, and we all have agreed that there wasn't any discrimination on the games.
Yeah.
We're jousting. There's not like any different rules or like none of us for Powerball. I mean, thinking in retrospect, we didn't have knee pads or elbow pads, and we're taking these people down on carpeting that's
Yeah.
covering concrete. But back then, your adrenaline's going, who cares? We'll just kill each other. And it worked.
Yeah. And I think another thing that you don't think about, like when I talk to people that are actors, directors, and stuff, you think about like, oh, obviously in a scene, this camera is getting moved 6, 7 times. This is taking it 2 days sometimes. And it blew my mind that it was like, oh yeah, we were on Powerball like over and over for different contestants because that makes sense. Obviously, set him a shot. You're not going to set up a shot for 5 minutes and then be done with it. It's like, we're going to keep doing this for the 13 episodes. We're going to shoot it all right now. That was pretty wild to me that was something that you guys had to do.
Yeah, the audience didn't know that.
Yeah.
That I had a problem with it. I mean, the last 4th, 5th season, I was like already ready to quit. I'm like,
Yeah.
you got, because let's say you've got 5 girls, I've got to joust all of them. So the first one, I'm going to knock her off. The second one, yeah, okay. The third one, I'm getting tired. The tendonitis starts kicking in. Your wrists are killing you.
Yeah.
So the person who got that straw to be the last one was usually the winner. And
Yeah.
you can totally tell, because in the past people have asked, she was so small, how did she knock you off? And then I'm like, I don't even want to explain. I don't.
Yeah. It was grueling. There was the 5th. No, I know. So at
Yeah, it
this
was
point,
midnight.
yeah, that was at midnight, right? So at this point, the first season shot, are you still at the same time? Is it still bodybuilding focused? Are you able to? Is it hard to keep that same regimen while you're filming and still be able to do competitions and things like that?
No, I got to the national level, and then when Skin Deep hit the theaters, and Lyle Alzado was my
Oh,
I asked him, I wasn't with anybody at the time, and I just picked him out of the gym, and he's like, of course I'll go. I thought he was the perfect match. And we're sitting in the theater, and when the scene came on with the John Ritter, and then I was, naked and in bed. He didn't have any idea that I was naked. And then when the previews for the other movies came out, it was our scene. And then it was just like balls to the walls. I quit the law firm. They sent me traveling all over Europe to do the publicity tour. They sent me.
oh my
No,
God.
I was like all over. I couldn't go back to work. I couldn't bodybuild. And I just hit the circuit, and that was like an eye opener. And that's what made Gladiators really easy for me when it came to, I believe, the longevity that I had was because I was an entertainer. I knew how to
Yeah.
entertain people, the crowds, where if everybody remembers, a lot of the other gladiators weren't like out there in the audience, or didn't have signs. Ice always had signs.
Yeah.
Nitro, Zap, but they really didn't interact with the audience or take the mic when we were on tour. Nitro and
Yeah.
I were always out there on the mic, getting Madison Square Garden going.
Oh,
And that was like exhilarating. And it raised the popularity, where it gave me job stability, whereas some of the other gladiators, not so much.
yeah. No, if you're not, yeah, no, that makes sense. What were you doing on the tour in Europe? So were they showing the movie and you were there, or are you just doing interviews on talk shows and stuff?
Interviews, arenas, um, theaters,
Wow.
uh, a lot of news, a lot of their local news in Germany
Oh my God, I'd love to
or
watch that. That'd be
in
so
Europe.
cool. Was that the first
But
time you ever went to Europe?
no, I lived in Finland.
Oh, you lived in Finland before that? So for
I lived.
bodybuilding, you were over there, or?
No, I met somebody when I was in Los Angeles who now is the head of. This is how crazy it is. The strongman competitions. That's his baby. He looked like Dolph
Really?
Lundgren, that
Yeah.
big. But I didn't know anything about this. He got himself into some trouble and got deported. And I was not going to stay in Finland. And I came back, and then he started all these, I've been around the world at these strongman
Oh
competitions
yeah,
that are all
I love watching them on ESPN.
crazy stuff that they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's how I ended up in Finland, and then came back, and during Gladiators, we went on tour We started in Maine. This was, I think, the 3rd season. We started in Maine on tour buses, like rock stars, but athletes acting
Yeah.
like rock stars.
Yeah.
That's when the whole crazy partying started, and that's when the what do you call it? The prescription. It wasn't prescription. The painkillers
Yeah.
were
Which is
introduced
the
to
wrestling thing
us.
too. It's synonymous. It's like, how do you do that many shows in that many, in a
Yeah.
year, no off time? It's like, what do you do? It's like, oh, boss, I can't do this. What's going to happen? Oh yeah, we'll find somebody else. So you have to like put yourself through it's terrible. But that's really one of the coolest moments in the documentary was, I think, just because of how important it is around the world, like Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena. I think that was so cool when you guys how many people were there for that like launch event, right? It was a launch
50.
event to launch the tour, right?
It was 50,000. No, it didn't. We started in Maine and traveled south, and we hit the college towns.
Yeah.
Sold out all the way down. Connecticut.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah, you
Huge.
start getting more hype before you go to the big arena, but yeah.
And then they sold out. And the behind me, Doug, I don't know if you can see.
I can see it. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's my shadow box of the memorabilia that I kept. And we brought this up on Netflix. We all brought it up that we didn't get
I
it
know.
done.
I know,
Like
which
a
is nuts.
lunchbox, all macaroni and cheese, playing cards,
Video games, like everything you guys were
Nintendo.
on.
Yeah. And but you know what? Back then, nobody really brought it up. I mean,
Yeah.
some of us were thinking most of us should have got paid a lot more than the newbies. And then with the merchandising, there were only probably 6 of us that they did dolls on, and it was only Ice and myself for the women. But back then, I was 26 because I know I had my child, and I held her up at Madison Square Garden when she was 6 months.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, that was trippy. And then we went down and around the Panhandle, and I jumped off that. I couldn't do it anymore. I got off in Texas,
Yeah.
and then so did the others, and they just had to keep on pulling people in. That's Lori got that job because I was pregnant during the show, but I had to take half a season off, and then they took me back. I didn't think they were going to take me back, but I was in the best shape of my life actually after I had my kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I think it was crazy you were competing with your kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We laugh about it now. I know it's probably not the thing to do, but you couldn't see. I knew what I was capable of.
Yeah.
Certain events I wouldn't put myself through, but I knew I can climb that wall faster than anybody. I knew I could joust. That wasn't I know how to block.
You put the videos on the TV and you tell your daughter, like, look, that's you on TV. That's you. You're there.
Yeah. And it was funny back then. I had a hole in my. I've had so many different uniforms, but there was, and they didn't know. Nobody knew because they wouldn't allow me to come back. But there was like a hole in my leotard where my abs were. I had the one arm sleeve.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is this happened to my daughter. When you have abs and your stomach goes out, it pushes your abs out more. If there's no fat, you're not getting fat. You're putting, I had abs at 6 months pregnant until they expanded and they got bigger and it looked like I had a 6-pack. I'm like, oh, she's in great shape. No, I'm pregnant.
No, baby. So now that changes everything, that the whole that you had such your face was out there in magazines and from Skin Deep. So was it really just like once Gladiator sort of took off in that third season, when acting and shows kept like
No,
Blossom, Baywatch, Hot Shots, like all of these roles that, but a lot of them you did play yourself in the
um,
roles.
no, those were day players. Those
They
were
were day
day
player,
player,
yeah. Okay.
cameo roles. Um, 14 talk shows. I did Jay Leno. I did it with Seinfeld. What's his name? Michael. Yeah, he played Kramer.
Oh,
So I
Michael
did it.
Richards? So you're
Yes,
on the
I
same
did it.
one as wow.
And James Woods. So those two. But what was the coolest thing is I was never starstruck. It was always almost like not an equal. They knew who I was
Yeah.
from watching the show.
But like you said,
So,
you didn't watch a lot of TV, so those people wouldn't starstruck you, right?
no, so many were in the gym.
Oh,
So
yeah.
many stars that were just regular people working out.
Yeah.
And that's why Gold's is such the mecca, is because you don't walk in there as a tourist. If you walk in as a tourist, believe it or not, you stand behind a railing. We're almost like animals in a zoo because they don't want people in there bothering Arnold because he
Yeah.
still goes. And nobody does. The people who are regulars never bothered any of the celebrities at
That's
all.
cool.
So after Gladiators, I quit. The sixth year I did Playboy. I did test shots, and I mean, this seems like it's like a whirlwind. Oh, now that I think about it, but
Yeah.
I did the test shots, not thinking, why are they going to pick some muscular fitness girl? And I auditioned for JAG, and it was for a lieutenant, Cassie Puller. I didn't really know the show because it was the pilot. I had to read what it was about. I knew nothing about the military. And Don Belisario is the creator director. And he said, "Kiddo, think you could cut your hair?" And I was like, and I'm used to long hair.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is it. I got another 6 years of an episodic under my belt.
Yeah.
So I cut my hair, did a great job playing a lieutenant. That was fun. It was on an aircraft carrier down in Corpus Christi, a literal aircraft carrier where you're up on deck and there's no railing.
I know. I interviewed Patrick Laberto, who was on that show for I think most of it, but yeah, he was telling me about that.
That would have been a great gig. So I lived in Pacific Palisades during all of this in Malibu, right on the border of Malibu. The houses are gone now. I had 2 houses gone.
Ugh.
Anyway, so I cut my hair. They're doing we did the pilot, and I'm sitting on my bluff, and I get a call from Gladiators. "Hey, Ray, we have an idea. How do you feel about coming back?" I'm like, you already told me I couldn't come back because of Playboy. And, I've got this short hair. So they're like, "Well, we want you as a contender. And you're going to go against the new girl, Dallas, Shannon Hall." And I'm sitting there, I was like, I know all the games. I'm still in great shape. Now I got short hair. I was like, what's it paying? Because I'm a businesswoman. Let me tell you that. I am a businesswoman first. So I was like, "What's it paying?" And they're like, "This." And I was like, "You double it, I'll be back." Done.
Oh my.
So I go back, which was fun. It was fun. Although, I don't know if Lori told you, none of the gladiators wanted to go up against me. Not out of anything, but pretty much we're all friends. Like Lori and I we're up jousting each other, laughing. Like, we're up and she, you know, her laugh and her smile, and she, what are we doing? I'm like, I don't know, just hit me. I'll hit you. It was so stupid because that was almost kind of rigged. But between us, like, you're gonna catch me up the wall. That's not gonna happen. But I'll let you. It was so retarded. But so anyway, after that, I end up getting a phone call from the Playboy Mansion, and Hefner greenlit me for 1996 celebrity pictorial. I was almost in tears. I had short hair. I'm like, this is not me. This is not. I mean, I'm known for having, you know, long blonde hair. That's kind of my brand. And I had to do Playboy. And they're like, no, this is good. And it doesn't matter. It's a celebrity pictorial. And I'm thinking, but I don't feel feminine. I had all this muscle, and we were out in the desert. It was the desert on these beautiful white sands. They built a bed in the middle of the desert on these white sand dunes with these what do you call it? Very silky. I felt so comfortable in my body, but I don't know if a lot of people know this. I literally drank salt water because salt water fills in all of those grooves that you have, all of the, what do you call it? I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, really?
It fills in the lines. So you look more feminine. Like without, you got a split in your bicep. That's not too sexy.
Oh, I gotcha.
Playboy people looking at it. So that's why I drank a lot of salt water. I filled out. And it was very tasteful. And I'm very proud of it. They did a really good job.
That's
except for
awesome.
the stupid hair.
How did that come about? You mentioned the Playboy Mansion. Were you at a party, or how were you approached to do that?
I did a calendar. For some reason, I did a calendar, and the photographer who worked with the calendar submitted the test shots to Playboy.
Oh, that's how they got submitted. Okay.
Yeah, we did it in Hawaii with a male, with a guy I did it with. His was single for Playgirl. Mine was single for me. And he's like, oh, can I submit? And he did, not expecting anything out of it.
Wow.
And again, horseshoe.
Yeah, right? Now, I know you didn't watch a lot of like TV, you were saying, growing up, but did your family get together and like watch the old Family Feud when you were a kid? Because that must have been pretty cool to be on, especially with Dawson was still the host then?
He was the biggest womanizer.
Cool. Very well documented. Just not even like stories, just watching the show.
No, he was a slime ball. Sorry.
He was. No, he was.
Act like a duck, walk like a duck. He's a duck. No, you know what I did? Do you remember Network of the Superstars? Something Superstars of the Network.
Oh, Battle of the Network Stars?
That one.
You did that?
No.
Oh, that's the one you guys watched. Yeah.
That's what was fascinating when Gladiators came along, because that's like me as a teen sitting watching going, I can do that, but I'm not a celebrity. I can do that, but I'm not a celebrity. And then, and then all of a sudden,
then you get to the point that you're a celebrity on a game show. That you're like the celebrity, yes, which is...
They're sitting watching going, I couldn't do that.
You know what's funny? That show, they tried to replicate it so many times. I guess kind of like Gladiator, like trying to do it like with Hogan, and I know they tried a few other iterations, but like the Battle of the Network Stars, I don't know why it just didn't work. I think maybe because you had some really big names on those shows in the 70s. You had like the people the people of that same level, I don't think would do that show nowadays, so it wouldn't be as enjoyable. But man, I love that. Even like I interviewed Rhonda Shear, who used to do like USA Up All Night, and she did like stand up in the 80s. And she was the host of a show that was a circus. And celebrities would do parts in this circus. I remember
I remember that.
But she was the host of it for one season of it. But like in the episode that she sent me to watch, Leslie Nielsen was the ringmaster. That's who the ringmaster of the whole thing was. I'm like, that's a fun game show.
You know, Leslie is who's on the cover of Playboy.
He was on the cover of the one you're in?
Yeah, with two girls.
Look at all these full circle connections. That's great.
What was the show after Gladiators? After it was getting, it wasn't too many cooks in the kitchen. We'll put it that way. These producers would come in and have their own ideas. In the first 3 years, it was spot on. They nailed it, and then they'd switch from Samuel Goldwyn to 4 Point Production, and it just they kept having their own idea of which way it should go, and they failed, and that's why I quit, because I didn't want to be on the show anymore when it was portrayed that way.
Yeah, and it's like the podcast that we do is called The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel, so we cover a lot of movie sequels, but it's like that sequel idea sometimes with seasons of shows. They get to the point, and especially one that just had like a lot involved, they're like, you know what, we're just going to take away the money that goes into some of this stuff, because which makes no sense. You would think keep putting money in it and it goes up and up and up, but so many people don't. It's like entertainment. They definitely do that so much. They'll just be like, hey, we'll put the same thing out there, like a movie sequel. We'll do the same movie and just change a little bit, and boom, the budget will be slashed in half. And it's like, that's not the mindset to have. It should be like, all right, great. We made a lot of money. Let's invest it back in and keep it building. Because Gladiators is a show that should still be on. I know there's an iteration of it coming back, but I feel like that is such a great concept. And people tried to do their own versions, like Pros vs. Joes. That was on Spike TV. Took like retired athletes. They go against normal Joes. Okay, but it just wasn't the same thing as like just the way the arena felt and the way it felt when you were watching it. And one thing that I think that was fascinating in the documentary too was once they realized like Samuel Goldwyn was, oh my God, people love these gladiators. They love Zap. They love Ice. They love the name character. So then they moved away from that to the whole model of like, let's focus on the contenders. Because then they would talk to them more than it was just a weird flip.
That's a good word, flip.
It was like a power struggle. It's like, whoa. We don't want to have these people get so much airtime. Let's take that away to learn about, Bob from Mississippi, who's here talking about his kids or something,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
It ruined it. And it ruins a lot of those reality shows now because it's so much of the stories. Like, I love stories and hearing about people's backgrounds, but you take away from like why you're watching America's Got Talent or any of these shows. Like, I want to see people do their act, not hear about it for 15 minutes and then watch it for 2. So why do you think like American Gladiators, like when they tried to bring it back, like with Hogan, and I think this is the reason why it didn't work, but they never consulted you ever after the fact? Like they never reached out to you and said, hey, Raye, we're thinking about doing this, or get anything from you?
What made no sense whatsoever. Nitro hosted a season or a few episodes when I was off, and then they started bringing these new gladiators in, and even Dan was just like, I was glad I left when I left.
Yeah.
And even Dan, but when they had the new with Layla and Hulk or Terry hosting, Dan and I we went to the set thinking, how stupid was it that they didn't have either Dan or me? I'm not sure. Lori wanted to do it. Probably now she would. It would have been a perfect fit for Dan myself to host that show. I
Yep.
think it would have at least had a shot.
Yeah, it would have like the trust. Oh, I know them. Or it would have been like, oh my gosh, I remember, because that's at that point, that was like 2008. You have like a next generation. You had to think like 18, 20-ish years. Those people that watched you guys when they were my are having kids. So then you have the next batch of generation of the show. But again, that's the whole thing of like, that's that terrible mindset of like, it's the show, it's not the gladiators, it's just the name of American Gladiators. Anybody would be on it. And obviously, it didn't last a season, right? The Hogan one?
No.
Yeah.
And they lost so much money on that
I'm
because
sure.
the events were a lot more elaborate, and they were like, they had that walk, because there were a few of us that went and met the creator, and we sat in the back in the green room, and I'm telling you, Doug, we had so much, we were bitter, thinking, how dare they? I mean, how stupid can they be? I mean, really? And then
Yeah.
Hulk, you throw a wrestler,
I know.
and they made it, like with the girls who were like, what are they doing? Had feathers out of her back, and then Helga, who's Robin Coleman, Helga, who was playing this. It wasn't wrestling. They made a farce out of it. And
Yeah.
even Layla, when talked to her, going, "Oh." Yeah, they weren't happy hosting that show at all. And now they're bringing it back again, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Lori was saying it filmed in France. They filmed it in France because France just finished. So again, that's a smart thing. Let's go to the set that's already built, I guess. But it's just a shame that it didn't. I don't know. Hopefully it works. Yeah. Because again, I hope it works in the sense of, hey, this thing's getting popular. You guys, people go, oh, let's go watch the old ones, or they rediscover the documentary and then bring you guys in, because I think that'd be the coolest thing. It could be anything, like just let's look back at a moment from American Gladiator history. You have a 3-minute thing after you get back from a commercial to show like how the show was and how it evolved, or something, just to have you guys involved. I think it would be really cool to be able to be like, oh my god, that's the bridging the gap to the next generation of gladiators. But
Well, what was we knew it was gonna happen. I knew something was gonna happen with the documentary, because I got a call from Vice, and Vice had their own, right?
they had their own. I didn't watch that documentary. They did one too.
Don't. Has none of us. It has nothing to do. It has to do with the one creator and another creator going at it, saying I created it. It was all about them. It was a bomb, because
Wow.
Nitro, or Dan, who's a friend, he called, and he calls me Ray. Ray, do not sign with them. I got something bigger and better. I can't tell you now. And he goes, you don't want that to be on that show. It's just, if you look at anything that's on Vice, think if you want to be a part of that. If you do, then I got to take you out of what this plan. I was like, I trust you, Dan. I trust you.
Yeah.
I'm not, biting at the bit to do a Vice show now. And then here we go, Netflix. And we were so candid. All of us were so
Yeah.
candid. Boy, they did not like that. They did not. The creator, producers, saying that there were needles in the locker rooms.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a crock of crap. I mean, no way. This sounds crazy, but even on a bodybuilding competition where there is drug use, you don't leave it in the locker room.
I know, right? I
It's
know.
private, don't you think?
Yeah, could you imagine
There's
doing
needles
that? Like,
all over.
you're already doing something that's illegal. Let me just leave the evidence on the ground, right?
Yeah, and that's stupid.
Yeah,
Anyway,
ridiculous.
that just kind of bugged me.
What'd
Why
you
would
think
he say
about
that?
it? Was it kind of therapeutic doing because I'm sure, were you, I know you mentioned Vice, but were you guys ever approached prior to that? Like a
No,
TV movie or
no,
documentaries? No?
no, no.
Really? That's
It took
shocking.
Dan. It took Dan. He's the one who
He
came up
was
with
he
it.
was trying to seek for it? Like he was
He
like,
produced. Yeah, he pitched it.
"Oh, that's
He pitched
awesome."
it.
To me,
And
that's
what's great,
shocking because it was such a large thing, and like I said at the top when we first started talking, it's one of those shows everybody knew it, and I'm sure you guys felt it when you go out in public. It's like even if you didn't watch the show, you knew about the show. Like we just mentioned, like all those different things that you were just on alone, different shows, talk shows, like Family Feud. It was like it was everywhere, and the video games, the toys. It was
it was.
insane. You couldn't escape it.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because when you're in it, you don't see it. You really don't see
You
it.
don't feel that? Like, I'm sure you did feel like you when it changed, right? Like, when the show got popular, I'm sure it was, like, getting noticed more, but were you getting noticed already from just film or being on
I
magazine
still,
covers?
I still am.
Oh, I'm sure you are. From the
It's
bodybuilding,
crazy.
right?
I don't know. They'll
Yeah.
come up people because I work at a community center, a big gym facility, and people will come there and ask, "Can we get your picture?" And I'm like, "Mm." My boss or coworkers will be, "Go ahead, go ahead." It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
crazy to think that just the staying power of that show, how popular it was, and I think the documentary definitely probably reignited some of that. I'm sure you had people reach out or you guys did like cons or something because it
yeah.
was that well done. And I think so afterwards, when you were able to watch it, what did you think about hearing everybody else's sides? I'm sure you guys obviously, because you lived it and communicated afterwards, but did you find anything interesting that was said or
None of us conversed before. I
which
did
is
talk to
cool. I think
Dan.
you could tell that too.
What's I'm always the guinea pig. Ray, you're going first. And I didn't know a lot of them didn't do many interviews, we'll put it that way, and didn't know how to speak on camera and things like that. But watching everybody's honesty was because we didn't get together and go, "Hey, you gonna talk about that? You gonna talk about
Yeah.
that?" And I'm thinking, I don't, I had a painkiller problem. Other athletes have had. People should know. No, I didn't just go. I wasn't Wonder Woman going out there. No, I was in a lot of freaking pain and
Yeah.
had to go to rehab to get off the stuff. So that we look more human, then don't put us on a pedestal. Everybody had, their issues. Lori with her, you know, back in the day when she was in the closet and wasn't allowed to be anything but in the closet, and
Yeah.
but that was those times,
Which is crazy to think about that she was on her and Dan were on that episode of Ellen.
and yeah,
And it's funny to hear think of the storyline like her with Dan
I
and
know,
then like Ellen with Dan, which
I
is
know.
like a really funny thing. Like, and I tried to get it like, do you know that Ellen's like, is there some kind of like, and she's like, you don't really know. Like, it's just, it's a pretty wild thing to look back. I watched some clips from that one, but no, I think it's so fascinating. How about the stuff that you have behind you? Were you collecting that as you went? Did you think like, oh, I should really keep this? Or like when you were on tour, were you thinking about like keepsake and mementos? Or was that something that stuff you collected after the fact behind you?
Absolutely none of what you just said. That the stuff behind me, people sent me.
Oh, that's cool. That's amazing.
They still send me things.
That's awesome.
They send me things that I don't even knew existed. I'm not kidding. I'm like, "Where would you get this?" Or photos. I'm still signing photos, cards, playing cards, whatever people come up with. It's kinda trippy, and then I was at work, and somebody said, "Are you selling your photos?" Because I would take and I'd sign them at work. I could do it and send them out, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Is that you on eBay?" And I'm like, almost like this, Doug. What's eBay? And he pulls it up, and I'm like, you're kidding me. They're selling all this stuff. I had no idea. And he's like, maybe you should do it yourself. And I have been doing that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm selling like bodybuilding pictures from back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And people are buying them. I didn't know other people were selling my stuff.
Yeah, people are. I know. I worked with a guy. He's not going to listen to this, but he was one of those people that would do that. He would. We lived in Portland for a little bit, so he would somehow know where the people's flights were coming in from, like celebrities. Especially in Portland, they were going to Nike, so they fly into Portland and then go to Eugene, and he would know where these people were landing, and he'd meet them, and he would get the one that he would make a lot of money on. He would get the pick guards, get people to sign them, slap them on a real guitar, and sell it for like ridiculous amount. And I'm like, I get it, but that's terrible to do.
Oh my gosh.
But that's cool that you like almost like now that's something that you own, like, because it is terrible when people do that. Like, oh yeah, you're my favorite person, or can I get this autograph, and then sell it? That's terrible.
It's even worse when people will write a nice letter, been watching, blah, blah, blah. And then, can you please sign my photo, make it to Tom or whoever. And I write and I put a nice package together. And then I'm looking, these people are selling my photos to other people. Like people are buying to Janine.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's why people personally sign things, and they charge more for people to do like the Justin autograph. That's funny that people would actually buy, hey Tom, and your name's Frank. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Me.
But that's cool that you were able to take hold of that. Wow, so you mentioned that like some stuff that was wild and trippy that people sent you. What was the weirdest thing that you saw, like an American Gladiators logo on or your face on, that they sent you?
Underwear.
Really? Like from then or now? Like new, like
no,
obviously not used underwear, but I mean like from the 90s? They were.
No, back in the day. This is no, people really don't send me crazy stuff anymore except for photos and like I've never seen before. Like when did I take that? How did they find that?
That's a photo of me taking out my trash. That's weird.
I know. People would send, and this goes for other bodybuilders. Gladiators can't really sell. I don't have any of my outfit. Doesn't matter the outfit. One is at Planet Hollywood, and one's up at Gold's. They're encased, and they're hanging. But
that's cool.
It's when people are sending me things to sign, which would be like a pair of 6-inch heels. I got those once. They were very expensive. I didn't want to send them back, but I signed them and sent them back. I don't know what. Was it
somebody that frequented stations, maybe?
We're segueing out of this, aren't we? And the underwear, the G-strings, or people would ask for a bikini of a magazine cover that I shot, and I would sell it. I would package it up and sell it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I had a good thing going there for a while. All right, must wrap up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. Do you have a favorite role that you got to do? Like acting wise? Like I know some, like you said, were day spots, like Muppets. You're able to, I don't know if you were a fan of the Muppets growing up, but was that cool being on like Muppets Tonight?
Me and Lori were like, our mouths were agape the way they do the set, and the puppeteers are underneath your feet while all of them are under there, and we're like, this is trippy. So we've been through a lot of really cool experiences. And I mean, I wrote a screenplay. I'll end on this. I wrote a screenplay called Still One, and it's about a woman. It's called almost like a Rambo, but it's more to date, and it has to do with human trafficking and a woman. And not to take away from any of the women out there, but there needs to be a woman who actually has the body to do the things that are asked of her.
Yeah, in the movie, yeah.
In the movie, and my movie doesn't have guns and all that crap. It has to do with like almost the way Rambo survived, but takes down a human trafficking ring in down in the bayou. It's very well written, and I'm working on that now.
That's cool. Your first script? This is the first script you've written? Oh, that's awesome.
First real long script, but I did write one before, but I missed the boat. This is crazy. It was called The Sagas of Raye, and it had to do with a brother and a sister Viking era. And I took it to producers, even the Gladiator producers, and they're like, Raye, if you would have brought me a game show that you had an idea of, I would have ran with it. But those are past. Now we're moving on to like Fear Factor and and I was like, so I missed that boat. But this what I wrote it'll be forever, and cool. Especially when it comes to like trafficking of human. Yeah. So that's getting awesome. A little deeper.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, Raye, thanks so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's about time. That's great.
Raye was a lot of fun. How about cool was the connection of where she grew up and how it kind of works with where she's at now, where she works? Really, really cool. And just to hear about her time on Gladiator a little bit more. If you want to hear super in depth, then you watch Muscles and Mayhem, the unofficial documentary on Netflix. Amazing. But yeah, Hot Shots Part 2, your homework, and it's pretty great homework. If I can remember, this one crushes. They're both really good, but because of Rambo being a bigger movie to me than Top Gun, I feel like this one's gonna go over very well with me, which I like all the movies, but definitely Jamie. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.